The innovations that led to the development of the video game industry were some of the biggest innovations in the second half of the 20th century. They changed the way people interact, play games, and learn. But the development of video games was not a simple process. It was a complex interaction of the many individuals and companies who were borrowing and changing each other's ideas. As a result, changing American culture. Coin-operated machines played a big part in the development of arcade consoles. Pinball was developed in arcades in the 1930s. Most of these arcade industries became the industries of the video game arcade. During the 1940s, service games also introduced slot machines, which were used in the same locations as pinball. At the same time, David Rosen started portrait painting in 1951, which eventually turned into photo boothing. He became the biggest photo booth tycoon in Japan. Because of this, Rosen Enterprises joined with Service Games to form Sega Enterprises. Because Service Game slot machines had been able to consume coins, Sega Enterprises' arcade consoles ran on consumed coins or tokens. With David Rosen's experience, Sega Enterprises knew where consumers would go to use the machines, places such as restaurants, lobbies, movie theaters, bowling alleys, etc. In this way, two concepts were joined together. In the late 60s, the home entertainment industry was begun. Early home entertainment began with products such as Pong, Spacewar, and eventually the Odyssey. Pong was actually invented as Tennis for Two in 1958. Companies such as Atari and Coleco saw the potential to market the product as a home game. The Odyssey was the first home video game console with multiple games installed onto its hardware. It was sold for homes in 1969. These games and these consoles started a new industry known as home entertainment. Pong was the first popular product in the home entertainment industry. It was first noticed by the general public around 1974. Pong's popularity lasted for nearly 2 decades after that. In the late 70s, microprocessing was first noticed by the general public. Ever since the 70s, microprocessors have been used in every single marketed home entertainment console. A microprocessor happens to be a computer whose entire CPU is contained on one or a small number of integrated circuits. This made video games more cost-effective. Originally, games were built as the console's hardware. Gradually, companies, organizations, and corporations alike were in the 1980s starting to build games as software. This change allowed first parties to make hardware, as the third parties made the software for the first party's hardware. Activision was the very first third-party company in the home entertainment industry. Activision made cartridges for first-party companies. They even made games for Atari. Presently, the majority of companies and organizations involved in home entertainment as industries are third-party companies or organizations in producing games or accessories for first-party companies or associations that are also in the home entertainment industry. The 1980s introduced new innovations in video games. These included motion control. Motion control is a type of hands-on experience through the action of moving a body part to change place and to change position. An early home motion control device was the Power Glove. The Power Glove was a glove that gave video gamers power by enabling their ability to control their games through their different specific motions. Another innovation of motion control occurred at the end of the 1990s. This innovation in motion control was known as the Nintendo Game Boy Advance. Certain games, such as, WarioWare Twisted on the Nintendo Game Boy Advance, could utilize its motion control capabilities. At the start of the third millennium, there was yet another innovation in motion control capabilities. It is often known as the Nintendo Wii. Most of the Nintendo Wii's games and applications use motion control for gameplay and accessibility. Another innovation in video games was the directional pad. A directional pad, or D-pad, is a small and flat hand-operated directional control found on the majority of today's electronic controllers, and is also found on many modern controlling devices. Such electronic controllers and controlling devices include the following: video game controllers, handheld video game units control pieces, remote control units of television units, and cellular phones. The impact of the D-pad is that Directional pads don't protrude more than a few centimeters from the device. Compared to a joystick, analog stick, thumbstick, or control stick, it's more ideal for portable devices such as mobile cellular phones, Game Boys, PlayStation Portables, and Nintendo DS's. The majority of D-pads are digital, which means basically that only specific directions on the D-pad can be manipulated by the person or persons controlling the device. Ever since its first appearance in 1981, the directional pad has changed the way controller devices are made and changed how they are used. Another innovation in video games was the concept of portable consoles. The concept began with the Microvision. The Microvision redefined what a video game was. A handheld video game console nowadays is defined as a lightweight portable electronic device with a built-in screen, game controls, and often speakers. Handheld game consoles run on machines of small size, allowing people to carry them and play them at any time or place. Unlike video game consoles, the control screen and speakers are all part of a single unit. In 1977, Mattel introduced the first electronic handheld game. This concept didn't become popular, though, until Nintendo released the Game Boy in 1989. Ever since its first appearance in 1977, and especially ever since its popularity in 1989, the handheld electronic gaming system has innovated the way people play games and changed how people learn. This is because people learn many skills every day thanks to handheld electronic devices. These skills include the following: manner skills, social skills, motor skills, language skills, and craftsmanship skills. Skills such as these are useful in everyday life. The popularity of video games has other effects on American society, some of them less positive. Video games have become directly linked to obesity, especially in children. Modern children play more video games and less sports and outdoor games compared with children in the past. A study of 3,000 children at the University of Texas found that children who played video games were more likely to be overweight than children who only watched television. Likewise, a Swiss study found a strong association between video games and obesity in childhood. However, as video games become more popular and these facts become more known, the industry has begun taking steps to make video games more physically active to combat the effects of too much sedentary activity. Dance Dance Revolution is a game that revolutionizes the art of Dance Dance. Dance Dance Revolution is also a game that slows weight gain and builds confidence. Public schools even use them in several states for these purposes. The XV Export is a system designed as a fitness program simulator. The XV Export is also known to reduce body fat, much like Dance Dance revolutionized the art of Dance Dance. Finally, the Nintendo Wii is also a system, as mentioned before, that often uses motion control for more vigorous activities. Without a doubt, video games have changed American society. At the present time, 89% of American children and teens play some sort of electronic game, whether it's computer, console, or handheld. 28% of American adults play games on a console, and a little more than 13% on a handheld device. As the current generation of children grow up, it is likely that a high percentage of American adults will continue their childhood practice of playing video games. American culture shan't be the same.